Okay, in this question, um, I've stated there's going to be cosine law, but actually by reading it, you wouldn't know that at first. And I'm actually going to show you a shortcut around this. So what is the sine? So we're going to take the sine of the largest angle in the triangle with sides that have lengths of 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so I have a little background knowledge about 3, 4, and 5 side lengths for a triangle. I have an idea of what it's going to look like. But assuming we don't, if we only know side lengths, then we need to use cosine law to find out the largest angle in the triangle. And if this is how we've named our triangle, then we're going to be using these equations, or at least one of them. And in these specific equations I've used, okay, I've called side C the side we're looking for, okay? So in this case, if we're finding a side, this is the C we're looking for. If we're finding the angle, this is the C we're looking for. Because we're looking for the angle, this is going to be the equation that we're going to be working with, okay? Which means I need to really name our, or measure our sides. Angle would be opposite of the greatest side. So if I'm looking for C, that means this would be 5. So this would be the angle that we're looking for. And then the other two aren't as important, a 3 and a 4. And we don't know if this is a special type of triangle. What I am going to do before I go into cosine law, I'm going to run a little test here because I think I know what type of triangle this is. Because it is 3, 4, and 5, I'm going to relate back to a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. If this works out, the left side would equal the right side. Sometimes I write those backwards. Left, right. Yep. Okay, good. Of the equation. And the right side would be the longest side. So in this case, 5 would be the hypotenuse, and the legs would be 3 and 4. And if this is true, it would be 25 is equal to 9 plus 16. 9 plus 16 is 25. So I've just discovered, if I can use Pythagorean's theorem, this is a right angle triangle, and I already know the largest angle must be the 90-degree angle. But I went on a test. I took a little leap of faith, and I figured out it's a right angle triangle. So I could technically solve the question from here, but let's just say we didn't know we could do that trick, or it's not a right angle triangle. Let's put it through these this cosine law to find out what the greatest angle would be. So using that cosine law, again we're looking for angle C. Okay, use a line to kind of separate over time. So if we're looking for angle C, we've already established some of the other values here. We are looking for an equation that is cos inverse of C squared, and C we said was 5, so it would be 5 squared minus 3 squared, which is A, minus 4 squared, which is B, all divided by negative 2 times A, which is 3, times B, which is 4. So we got to figure out what's essentially within these brackets. Okay, so we're still looking for the cos inverse of, and we know the top here is 25, subtract 9, subtract 15, that's actually going to be 0. So we're looking for cos 0, or cos inverse of 0, divided by negative 24. We know 0 divided by anything is 0, so we're looking for the cos inverse of 0. And it just so happens that the cos inverse, so this is angle C, cos inverse of 0 is 90 degrees. And we already kind of established that above. So, 90 degrees. Great. That doesn't give us our answer. Remember, for our answer, they wanted the sine of 90 degrees. So we need to take sine of 90 degrees and figure out what it is equal to. If you know your sine waves, you have a pretty good idea here. But we can test it with a calculator if we're unsure. It's a simple thing to do. Sine 90 is equal to the value of 1. So the largest angle in this triangle was 90, so that means we're looking for sine 90 is equal to the value of